Hey there guys, how you doing? I'm Yalek, and I'm kind of annoyed because I started making my Thursday War Factory video, pressed record, started talking, came out here, clicked to scout, and this is so old and tired that I don't even know what to tell you. This isn't even a particularly hard version of this layout. Sometimes there are more lasers. The lasers do not have very high health. They're only laser beam 1s. Let's see, a shield. That is a pretty hefty shield. You could probably do some barding if you were interested in making your life easier. Those are shield generator 1s, and these are the same. They do add up to a pretty good shield on the HQ, though, and the health on the HQ is, what, around 500,000? A little bit more. But all in all, this is a very boring layout. This is a tired layout, and I'm so exhausted with doing the same layouts over and over again. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to walk you through the basics. If you want, like, the standard approach to this layout, I guess. And I will suggest right away, we do have Lasertrons. Right now, I do not have them on this account. If I did, then we would have something to go on here, because I do think Lasertrons drop down here would be amazing. So you get them over in this area. Keep out of the range of the blaster, the Doom Cannon, and this blaster. So you've got a lot of room to work with down here on this beach. So make sure you just drop the flags close to the water, or over in this corner, and let them all fire inwards towards this stuff. They're going to eat through this like crazy. They're going to do damage on this stuff back here before it can even range your Lasertrons, and you're going to have GBE for days. The one thing about the Lasertrons is they're expensive to, well, all of those prototypes are expensive, 18 GBE a piece to drop, but you get the GBE back after, because you start doing just insane amounts of damage killing towers behind your initial target. So that would be fun, but I didn't buy those on this account. In fact, I only bought them on one account, and we're not there. So here's what we're gonna do. These are low health. Gonna BART them. I had loaded up Zookas. It's kind of my standard for War Factory, so it's what I'm going to plan for. So this is something to deal with, but I'm going to deal with it later. First thing I'm going to do is come over to probably right about here, and I'm going to hack out these two shock launchers. I will explain that process, because I was talking to somebody today trying to explain how to double hack on an op base, and it didn't end up working out, but it is a really valuable skill. So I don't really care if you try it and you fail. Like, don't feel bad about that, but keep trying it. Keep working on it, because it is such an amazing thing. So fun to use in this game. I'm gonna throw one extra smoke there just to be sure. Yeah, because she would have walked out. All right, so we have marked the lower shock launcher. You'll see. And I flared to the pressed hack and flared to the upper shock launcher. Now, I just hit the button again as soon as it went from being grayed out like it is now to going back to blue, meaning you could use the ability again. So it's very simple. That's how you do that. Marking is just damaging a tower that you want to hack. Sparky hacks by default the most damaged thing in her area. If anything is damaged, if nothing is damaged, then she hacks the thing that is nearest to her. So you can override nearest to her pretty easily by damaging something. Not sure that was actually the best use of art versus barrage, but anyway. Yeah, so Sparky, you can override what's nearest to her by putting damage on something, and specifically more damage than anything else in the area. It's very easy when nothing is damaged, like at the beginning of this hit. So, made sure to be in range of both, damaged the one tower, flared to the other, then you press the button again as soon as you can press it. When you're coming out of smoke, that button will go back to being blue right there. And press the button, and you hack 2 towers. It's like magic. So, like, that's pretty much it for this base. I'm going to go ahead and BART out those lasers. Let's see. I might go through sort of the motions of one more attack. And then, honestly, I'm going to go switch over and do a couple of op hits. They're low-level op hits. Not do show, they're from earlier. But they're lower level, but they were really fun because everything was unboosted. This is my sort of parking task force. This is where I hang out with the guys who are pushers, which is not normally a place where like op guys hang out, but I love it here. Very cool group of guys, you know. Very knowledgeable about the game of Boom Beach, which, like, I don't care what your priorities are, whether it's, you know, ops or pushing or crab or whatever. I just think it's cool hanging out with people who like Boom Beach. I don't get that much in real life, needless to say. Let's see. Trying to stay away from the Doom Cannon for now. I'm just going to walk through these one-hitters. And this is kind of a dummy hit from here on out. Just nothing seriously bad for the Zookas is left over here. Keeping critters out to keep the Doom Cannon off the Zookas. And also just trying to stay out of range of the Doom Cannon generally, which also keeps it off the Zookas. We've got Sparky. She's kicking out the occasional critter or two with her passive ability, which is awesome. That keeps the Doom Cannon off us too. Doom Cannon fires very slowly. So, let's see. And some more barding over here. We're eventually going to come into range of that mortar, most likely. This is... There's very little skill required here, and that's sort of my problem with, you know, seeing these maps over and over and over and over again. This is... You couldn't quite go blindfolded here, because you do have to know, like, when to reshock there on the Doom Cannon or drop some critters or whatever. But it takes minimal skill. Please, Supercell. We're supposed to have some updates coming out that are... Let's see. I'm going to see if I can get that. Nah, she's probably going to get the sniper tower. Oh, nope. Darn. I was trying to hack the Boom Cannon over here, but whatever. This takes no skill. This is just walking and occasionally shocking. This is more similar to a tank hit than to a skill hit. I don't mean for that to sound bad or judgy or anything, but it kind of does, I'm sure. But I don't, you know what I mean. We're supposed to have these, the next couple updates coming out are supposed to be for the older parts of the game, like the non-warships parts of the game, PvP and operations players, the people who have been around here for years and years. Please give us more War Factory layouts and more interesting War Factory layouts. Like, there's nothing wrong with having this basic configuration here, but, you know, find something to up the not the difficulty per se, but just the interest level. I mean, I realize everybody wants to be able to beat this, so, like, upping the difficulty significantly, maybe not, is the way to, I don't know, but there's got to be something else than just this, the same thing over and over and again. Anyway, you can see where it goes from here. You just continue to walk Zookas up towards the HQ. You could, I mean, over here you could have thrown some rifles in. That would have helped with the cannons, because, you know, it doesn't really matter if rifles are getting picked off one by one. There are 10,000 of them on every boat. And walk in towards the HQ, and make sure you don't come into range of the rocket launcher over there, which really should not be all that hard. You won't even have to worry about either one of those things if you're approaching from up here, and that's War Factory in a nutshell. And I'm not even going to bother gemming up those troops. I don't see any point in finishing that out. So let's just switch over to op hits. Like I said, tinderbox, okay, low-level operation hits, but everything unboosted, and I called in these two guys. That's the whole point, is I'm trying to save powder on a whole bunch of these accounts up here. Because I'm a little bit of a maniac about saving powder. But anyway, so I brought this account in here. This one doesn't normally live here. It's a 5.5, but unboosted. This blue water had a 2 million shield and about, I think, like 800,000 health. So this is an unboosted hit. Now, very, very easy blue water. Rocket is out of range. Rocket is out of range. Really only need to worry about this stuff over here. In particular, we've got 2 shocks if this is done right. Excuse me. Got to do a shock on this stuff. Got to do a shock on this stuff. I'm going to miss, I think, the first shock over to the right. Oh, yeah, there it is, the mortar. But that mortar really isn't in range of a whole lot of girls, so that didn't end up being too much of a problem. Refreshed those shocks, and this time we got the mortar over here. And girls are still sitting there doing damage. Tons and tons of damage. And okay, now we're about to die, because I've got no more GBE for things. But as we're dying, that 2 million shield drops. And then I threw whatever GBE I had left on, you know, to put more damage on the core. But 2 million shield, completely unboosted, with a 5.5. I thought that was really cool. And then I got the chance to do an unboosted Machina. So I'm always going to try to do an unboosted Machina, going with the bullet method. And the first thought when I looked at this is, Christ, was there a sale on rockets? But then, you know, I realized no mines really to worry about over here. Took my chance on these guys. That ended up being a mistake, but not really that bad of a mistake. And just, you know, just have to, the GBE to get there is your main cost here. And very, very low health, not the point. Just the chance to be able to do one of these, because it's fun. So I think I did lose a couple girls there on the mines, but that, like I said, didn't end up being such a huge deal. Get bullet out front. Now we have just one shock here, and that's behind us, because these rockets can't see any of the Zookas that I need really to survive. The ones around bullet don't survive because of the splash damage, but the core's already down. The rockets have had one chance to fire, and they emptied on bullet, and they killed everything, all of the Zookas that were in his range. But most of the Zookas landed back here, because when you do this hit, you originally flare to this sniper tower. So they're trying to be in range of that. They get in that position, you flare over to this tower here, and so bullet moves over to this position. They stay in the same spot because this is all in range of all of them. And then you flare the core. So these rocket launchers don't see the critical Zookas, so they can just stay back there and shoot, and you have to shock any incoming from this direction or this direction. So if you have rockets over here, which will more normally be the case, this is obviously a very easy Machina, then yeah, you want to shock those two. But in this case, just the one shock behind us, and yeah. Oh, hey, pro tip, this does not work when these are mortars. It works when they're rocket launchers, because rocket launchers have a huge blind spot. But I tried doing that one time very stupidly. I tried doing that, and those were mortars back there. This does not work at all when those are mortars. Anyway, that's, I guess, what is that even? It's not even a quick guide to War Factory. It's more of like a sign. This way. That's how and then a couple op hits. Anyway, yeah, it would be nice to have a different range of like basic, the basic layouts on War Factory being changed up. Not only that, I mean, add the intel we've been asking for years for War Factory. New and interesting layouts for Dr. T and for Imitation Game, and change up Imitation Game, because honestly it's way too easy, and stuff like that. Just refreshing the daily events would be a big deal, because I mean, you do them every day, so they do get boring. Anyway, Apparently I'm getting boring because my screen's going dark, so that's probably a good sign. I'm going to call it and cut it here, but, you know, hope that helped with something. I'm not even sure what, but maybe it entertained you a little bit. If so, like, thumbs up, and I will catch you later. Take care.